wrapped up in like 5 layers of saran wrap, Febreze 9 times, fucking patted down with petroleum jelly, like this was Belly and shit. Like, you remember the movie Belly? Man, you remember the movie Belly, stop lying.
Connected to Sales Remastered.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sales Remastered. My name is Daniel and I'm your host. Today is Saturday, June 2nd, and you're going to join me on a ride here in this episode of Breakfast of Champions, where I'm going to talk about perception. Yup, perception. And why I choose perception is because, you know, I saw this post on Facebook and it had to do with like this famous painting, and I shared it. You know, if you want to go see what that looks like, go check out the Facebook page at Sales Remastered. And ultimately what it is one of those things, you know, where you get like the 360 view from your phone. So it's like you're in the picture that you look at. Well, this was a painting, right? And it's a famous painting. I don't know the name of the painting. Might be like Picasso or something like that. But it was pretty cool because when you clicked on the picture, you were in the painting. I was like, damn. And so I thought to myself, I was like, man, besides the technology advancement, how come they didn't have cool shit like this when I was a kid? You know, and I started putting two and two together. I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is why they made legal marijuana, right? Like they made herb or marijuana or the cannabis plant considered recreational, because all the cool shit that they get to sell with it. Man, I see what you're doing, Govey. I see what you're doing, man. First your medicines, first your pills, now your technology, now your apps, now you know what I mean? Like, I see what you're doing, boo-boo, and I appreciate it too. But you know what I think about when I hear recreational? I was born in the 80s, right? I'm an 80s baby. When I hear the word recreational, you know what I think of? I think of rec room. Like, remember that? Remember rec room? For anyone here who's an 80s baby, like in elementary, you went to the rec room to go grab the PE supplies. Like that was a PE room. That was a storage room. They called it rec room. And you're like, the fuck is rec room, dog? And be like, oh, rec room, rec is recreational. So any recreational activities like jump rope, checkerboard, you know, hopscotch, whatever you're playing, that's considered rec. Now we got fucking weed as rec. I'm like, damn, man. When I used to go to the recreational room, all I smelled was fucking hot leather, dirty hands, and broccoli. Now you go to the rec room and all you smell is pine cones, candy, and and incense and shit like sage. Like, you stoner motherfucker, you lucky motherfuckers. Like, if you remember, if you're an 80s baby, like, man, when we had to go pick up our flowers, right? And mind you, this was a plant. We had to go meet Sancho at fucking DK's Donuts, right? Or on the corner of 2-1 and Lewis at some fucking random time. You had to get a ride from the homie. The homie needed to go sneak out the parents' car, right? Or worse yet, you took the bus. And so, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're sitting on the fucking public bus transportation, waiting, right? Everyone hitting the motherfucking rope just to get stopped over and be like, damn, hey Sancho, bro, we got like 20 minutes, man. We're gonna be there like half an hour. And we had to go through the extremes, man. It was like we were selling black market shit when all it was some damn natural flowers wrapped up in like 5 layers of saran wrap, Febreze 9 times, fucking patted down with petroleum jelly, like this was Belly and shit. Like, you remember the movie Belly? Man, you remember the movie Belly, stop lying. And so you did all this, right? And then built the fucking trap door that was under the passenger seat to go buy the flowers. And so I'm speaking from frustration, but I'm also taking a trip down memory lane. Man, I remember sweating my ass off going into like, you know, because I lived with different family members, right? So going into my family's house, like thinking I'll smell like weed. Now kids-a-days, shit, it's just as common as smelling applesauce and shit. I'm like, damn, I smell weed everywhere I go now. You know what I mean? And I'm still the one like thinking it's me. But no, boo-boo, it's the fucking air. And so why I bring that up and why I use this as a reference point, not only to entertain you, not only to make you giggle, but to also put things in perspective, because it is our perception, right? So what we perceive, in other words, if you were not an 80s baby and you are a 2010s baby, well, by the time you get to my age, weed is just as casual as fucking Kool-Aid. Like, weed is gonna be the Kool-Aid for my kids. Holy shit. And so then you think like, okay, well, what else did we think was horrible at the time? Or what else was different at the time when I was growing up versus what's now? And see, it is our perception in that current time, in that current state. So we perceive this flower to be a gateway drug. Well, if it's a gateway drug, why are you letting everyone do it right now? It's because it will be the gateway to the government's drugs. Does that make sense? Or we have the perception, like, for example, when I was growing up, we didn't need seatbelts. Like, no adult gave a fuck if you had a seatbelt on. Like, you were in the front seat, bro. Like, babies were chilling in the back, no seatbelt, no booster chairs, nothing. Man, I used to sit in the back of a truck, like the truck bed. Yeah, like moving, bro, like 40, 50 miles an hour down the street. I'm in the back of the truck letting the fucking, letting the air breeze through me and shit. You can't see that shit anymore. Like, man, I got 3 kids, but 2 of them are young, and 2 of them at one point were using booster seats, right? Like, not too long ago, they're both at the same time. So the back of my seat looked like, the back of my car looked like a damn, shit, it looked like I was a NASCAR racer shit. Everything was barred the fuck up, strapped the fuck up. We had helmets and all that shit. And all I was doing was going across the street to get some coffee. And so where I'm getting at is how we think right now, what we perceive right now. Everything will change. Change is imminent. And so what you think is a grind right now is not going to be a grind in the future. What you think will not stop will stop in the future. And so every little thing that you experience right now, you are going to appreciate it in the future. And why I tell you this is because a lot of us look at right now and we kind of get bummed the fuck out. We kind of get like, oh man, all I can focus on is the negative shit. Case in point, like, and I'm not saying anything about my wife. I love my wife. My wife got great intentions behind this statement. So if you're not hooked up on the IG feed by now, go click the link below, including the Facebook feed. But there's stories, right? Like, so IG got stories, Snap got stories, Facebook got stories. And so I shared on the story an email that I got yesterday, because it's June 1st, right? So the morning of June 1st, I received this mail to highlight and show the final numbers for May. And so I lead a team. If you don't know by now, I'm a producing sales manager. So I sell myself, and this is why I got the channel. And I also lead a sales team. I just happen to lead the #1 sales team, FYI. And so my VP sent an email out to all the managers, right, of the division, saying, hey, this is where everybody let up. And there's like a total of maybe good 15 teams. And so, it's split up into 2 different divisions. So you got purchase division and you got refines division. Anyway, so it had like this spreadsheet listed out, and it showed the total numbers produced, right? Like your final production in regards to origination, new loans. And so I was the only one at 3 figures, but because they counted it per agent, like it was a minimum of 8. So I didn't make the goal, right? Like, this is goals that were set for you, which fucking bonus for you, PS, note, asterisk, don't ever go by a goal that's based by someone else, that's measured or set by someone else. And so if your manager has your own goal, don't go off that goal. Don't even pay attention to it. I know I didn't, and this is probably why this happened. But anyway, my manager, which is the VP, sent me over an email showing us, all the managers, where we are for the month. You know what I mean? Like the total production. And so ultimately what it did was it showed me as the second or third on the list. I don't even fucking remember. But it showed me like at the bottom, and my VP gave shout out to the people who were at the top of each bracket. And so the top refi manager and then the top sales manager. And so this is why you don't want to go off that goal shit. You don't want to buy into that hype shit. Go hype on your own numbers. Go hype on your own production. Focus on your view, not anyone else's view. Because here's the truth of the matter is my production, my end production was like 104 units, right? 3 figures, 104. But the person ahead of me who got the shout out This manager had a total of 34 units. How the fuck is that possible? I quadrupled their fucking production. Why are they at the top in first place getting shout the fuck out, getting acknowledged, right? Like, I didn't even notice that shit. But now that my wife told me, because I saw it over to my wife, I was like, look what your boy did, you know, expecting kisses back. She replied back and said, babe, don't worry that they didn't marry. Stop thinking, you know, don't let these things get to you. You know, you work, and she's trying to console me. I'm like, the fuck you talking about, boo? So I look back at the email, I'm like, oh shit, you're right. He didn't give me a shout out. And that's the fucking case of the matter. That's the whole fucking punchline, is that, you know, if number one, is that if you are so worried about your view, your paper, you don't have time to worry about the view of others. You don't got time to worry about other people's opinion. And so that's why I didn't notice that shit. But now that I looked at it, I'm like, oh, fuck, you're right. But I'm glad that that happened. And again, nothing wrong with my wife. My wife isn't negative mindset or anything. Sometimes. But you know what I mean? Like, but what she was trying to do was just protect me. So she assumed, and I blame fucking Real Housewives and all them fucking Bravo shows, you motherfuckers. You know, but you know, she thought that I was complaining to her, like, oh, they didn't give me a shout out. I don't give a fuck what they shout out, because the shout outs don't pay me. The fucking acknowledgments don't pay me. Them little plaques, they don't pay me. You know what pays me? The fucking paycheck with my name spelled right. Nicart. Bitch! I'll see you in the next video.